Hello friends, Jason here with TheChartGuys, taking a look at our tanker stocks once again. Yesterday's video we talked a lot about looking for hourly trend changes because we were seeing some big red days. Today it looks like we got some of those hourly trend changes, or at least we got the beginning stages of what could become hourly trend changes. Let's take a look. We're going to start with TK on the daily time frame. So today's candlestick, because we had a higher low and some volatility, it is indicated by the upper and lower wicks, suggests that there is a trend change, or at least an attempt happening. Now, sometimes that attempt can simply mean that the bears are exhausted and bulls are taking advantage of that. But the fact that we're seeing upper and lower wicks here tells me that it's more of an impasse. So we're getting back into a situation where bears and bulls are evenly matched. We still have this 316 area as a support. We can see that it's still important because of today's low, but ultimately we have daily support at the low of yesterday's candlestick, 311. So I'm going to go right to the hourly time frame, and this is what we are starting to look at for hourly trend changes. Do we have an hourly trend change now? Yes, we do. Technically, we have 311, 315. We have higher lows, and then we've got this little blip over here, our high. Let's call it. Well, it's 326, and then 336, and now we're attempting to get another higher low. So really, this is technically, yes, a trend change, but we're still seeing relatively weak sideways movement. So we really need to see a conclusive break. Otherwise, we can just look at this from a macro perspective and say, yeah, maybe we held 315 for a minute, but we're still getting lower highs on our big pushes. So the components are here to get a trend change. What we need to see tomorrow is going to be a nice, solid, strong move with a higher high over 336. That will tell me that we've got that hourly trend change locked. And then we're going to look for resistance at the high of this push on 348 and then ultimately 381. So a long ways to go, but you know, hourly bulls are getting there for our time frame, still on a downtrend, so the bulls have some proving to do. If we break 311, support 284. NAT on the hourly time frame looks like we got our new low from the flush this morning. So we lost that 490 support in pre-market, or very, very early this morning, flushed down to our new low of 341 or 471. And now we're seeing the hourly bulls step in, and the last couple hours really rampage through, breaking that 515, getting over EMA 12, 26, 8, all of the major EMAs. Now what we need to see is a higher low over top of the low of day, which is at 471. So that should be relatively easy. I shouldn't be that confident in it. But the fact is we moved pretty well from 471 to 522. So the likelihood, even if we see a bear push, is going to be a lower high or a higher low into a higher high, giving us that trend change. So that would ultimately look like that weird head and shoulders type pattern that we've talked about so many times. Should they do that, resistance is going to be 555. FRO on the daily time frame, another green day with a lower wick. In this case, we have very close to a double bottom support if we haven't lost that in after hours. 740 is that critical level for us. Right now, this is nothing more than a inside bar with the potential for a bounce. 4-hour time frame, still in a 4-hour downtrend. It looks like we did see a lower low in our after hours session. So 730 is the key support there. But after that, we got a high, we got a higher low. Now bulls are on their way to testing 795 to get a higher high and change the trend for the bulls on the hourly time frame, and then possibly, just possibly, see if we can't get some 4-hour follow through with a break over 831. If that fails, 730 and $7 psychological is the key support for us to hold. TNP hourly time frame. Oh, let's start here. We broke over 281. We still need a higher low over 265. Resistance 306. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because it's the same as the other charts. We know what we're looking for. 254 is our daily support. And lastly, SFL on the hourly time frame, a low, a new high. Now we need that higher low, and then we need a higher high over 1015, 985, 969 support. A lot of these are starting to look the same. So keep an eye out for those trend changes. Look for those areas of support. Watch the 5-minute time frame to give you those indications of when those reversals are going to take place. Those are your best entries. We have to have a macro plan and a micro plan. If my macro plan is to look for an hourly trend change and get something over 985, that's my macro. I'm going to zoom right into the 2 and 5 minute charts, look for trend changes that happen in these areas where I expect to see support, set my stop losses below those in case I'm wrong, and I can be very well. Everyone can be. We have no idea what's going to happen. We simply plan and adapt. If we're wrong, we stop out, we take a minimal loss, we try again. If we are right, then we'll get the bottom of that hourly trend change and we look for resistance on the daily. And you know what? We've moved down so quickly. If bulls step it up and move together, there's minimal resistance here on the daily time frame. We could see some pretty solid gains. If we lose 979, 969, just the opposite is true. We could drop very, very quickly and see downside continuation. Anyway, that's it for today's Tanker Talk.